I gotta do it. When you have somebody running your company that holds video game controllers like this, that should tell you that he don't know what the he's doing. Okay, it's that time of the week. Gaming news. Today is, what's today? April 27th. Now I gotta wait about 30 seconds before I can tell y'all that y'all ain't, and I ain't gonna complete that sentence. So there's kind of a lot going on. Some of these things we just gonna run through. Some of them we gonna actually talk about. Let's not waste time. First things first. I might be more excited about this than y'all. Alien Isolation is finally getting a sequel 12 years later. I have a couple games from last gen that were some of the most underrated games, definitely of that generation, but maybe I've ever played. Just to name a few, we had Alien Isolation, didn't get great reviews. The first Dying Light, phenomenal game. And then the third one that comes to mind immediately, Sunset Overdrive. I would love a Sunset Overdrive sequel, but it's never going to happen. Anyway, October 2014. Do y'all know how long that is? There's so many games that we have not seen in over a decade. Anytime we get some that long after, I'm open for it. Just don't let it be no bullshit. So it says here that Alien Isolation had mixed reviews at launch to reach a cult hit status amongst fans of xenomorphs and retro sci-fi tech. There's a couple times, like, this is why you gotta really kind of watch game reviews. Because this game did not get good reviews. And everybody I know that's ever played this game liked the game. The reality of the situation is, what you see on the internet with review platforms is not the way real people play and look at games. It's only the way us nerds and platforms evaluate games. Regular people, the shit's fun, it's not fun. You know what I mean? This, even I seen Mouse PI for Hire, IGN review, and I'm glad some other people said it. I was like, yo, a 6 is crazy. A 6 is crazy. That's why when I do my discussion videos, I don't give scores. People get too caught up in the number, and I'm more worried about what I actually said in the review than the final number. Fuck that shit. We gonna sit up there. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all buy it, rent it, or wait. Or skip. It's that simple. Anyhow, there was a teaser that they put out. The teaser didn't say that there was a sequel to Alien Isolation, but there was a press release shortly after for Creative Assembly sequel to Alien Isolation, putting any doubt to rest. So it is official, and I'm excited. I'm excited. Hopefully they fix the map. The map on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Control in Alien Isolation, that shit tough. That's tough. Anyway, this is a big W for me. Let me know what y'all think of. Let me know if there's any games that have been gone for let's say the last 10 to 15 years and that you want to see return, you get a sequel to. A real sequel with a nice, decent budget and people who know what the first game is. Moving on. Oh, Lord Jesus in heaven, we got to talk about this. We might be here for a minute. I'm going to tell you that right now. PlayStation. Shuhei Yoshida has finally been able to speak about what happened. So he was the previous PlayStation exec. He stepped down in 2019. Now, if you're really a fan of PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, whatever platform you like, you know when motherfuckers is in the top of their game and when they not. And now I'm here to tell you right now, PlayStation, don't tell me about revenue, because people always do that. Revenue ain't got shit to do with the art and all the stuff that people are putting out. That's just a whole bunch of money. The PlayStation, this gen has been rough, to say the least. To say the least. So for me personally, I'm seeing in the time period in which he stepped down, in PlayStation going in the direction that I'm not the biggest fan of because of where they previously were, was way better for me. PlayStation had a way of, they started off the generation pretty slow. That's typically what they did, 1 to 2 years, a little slow. By That third year, they start hitting you over the head with great games, and then for the whole gen through, bow. This time they started with good games, and then it's just like they do put out some good games. Obviously, we have Wolverine. So people are gonna start naming games. I'm not saying there's no great games. I'm saying I expect more in a different direction for Sony, and we're gonna get into why here in just a second. So I got too far off topic. Goddamn it, just walk with me, brother. All right, he said he was fired from the job in 2019 in part because he refused to listen to PlayStation's top boss, Jim Ryan. He has since retired in 2024. Okay. Jim Ryan wanted to remove me from first party because I didn't listen to him, he said. He has to do some ridiculous things, and I said no. Just so you know, he was in charge of first party. Now, I don't know how long he was with the company. I'm sure somebody in the comment section can help me out with that. Shout out to y'all. But Shuhei Yoshida was there, and he was a part, and he had input for all the first-party games. He helped with The Last of Us, and helped with God of War 2018, and when they were, when these studios had these visions, he helped see the project through. That's what he did. You take him out of there, it should just look different now. Especially when Jim Ryan came in here. So here we go. Also, he's a huge gaming fan. I really wish we could get back to a standard where the person running the thing is a fan of the thing and not just a money guy. But that's where we are. Is there a lot of cases you have people running whole corporations and companies, studios, and all these, and they don't even like the thing that they're running. They're not fans of. This is how you end up with the big arch. He's scared to bite that motherfucking burger. That's how. How do you not like your own food? That's what's going on here. And there's people who said they're running video game companies. They say they don't even play video games. Why are you here? I think for us to get the best versions, and I'm talking about everybody's community. Yeah, you can say a lot about Phil, but my man left his goddamn his Xbox Live account public. Y'all motherfuckers, some of these gaming journalists, y'all hiding trophies. There's not a conceivable reason why you're hiding trophies. There's really not. Well, there is, and y'all know why. Anyway, he's also real big on the indie scene, as I am. All right, this is why we do some of the showcase videos we do, because I want to show y'all the games that everybody may not know about. My PlayStation trophies is open. I don't give a fuck. Okay, he said he had no choice but to take the indie-focused job at PlayStation because he was told by Jim Ryan, either you take this indie job and step down our first party, you can leave the company. So he gave him an ultimatum, and Jim Ryan gave a mandate that Sony Studios build live service games to capitalize on the trend, and this was said to have upset a number of developers. The blame apparently fell on PlayStation legend Connie Booth, and she left the company and works for EA. And I reported during our news, we didn't start doing news till the end of last year, that they were planning, I thought it was 13 live service games at the time. It says 12 here, but it doesn't really matter. So, in essence, Jim Ryan had these people who give us great games, mostly single player, and in a lot of cases, if we go back to the PS3, they had single player games with a good multiplayer option attached to the game. He had these studios just do live service games. This is how we ended up with this Horizon game. This is how we ended up with an attempt at a God of War live service game by Blue Point Studios, which that's not what they were brought in for. So you figure instead of them doing the things that we want from them, they was asked to do some bullshit that would have completely changed PlayStation philosophies had they been successful. That is not good. And this is why we are where we are in the middle of the gen. You cannot tell me you saw a PlayStation 6 years into the development cycle not putting out more first-party fire games, bro. You're not going to tell me that. What we do have is we have several attempts at live service games that just ain't going to work. And one of which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Jim Ryan, you fucked our brand up, bro. And I'm glad there's an opportunity for course correction. If Xbox wasn't having the tough time that they were having, they could have got rolled over this time. PlayStation, tighten up, brothers. Get back to what you know. While you have Helldivers, and you have MLB The Show, that's what's referenced in the article, that doesn't change the fact that we've seen... It's rough out here. Y'all know what I'm getting with. Lastly, I gotta do it. When you have somebody running your company that holds video game controllers like this, that should tell you that he don't know what the fuck he's doing. Bro, I've been playing games. I've been playing games so long, I can't remember not ever playing video games. Brian never held a controller like this, bro. Maybe that's just one image. No, the reason I left Google Images open is because we about receipts. Look at him. He don't know how to hold a controller. Look at his face. Bro, my man's just bugging out, man. He don't know what he's doing, bro. Get him. I know he left, but he tried to bring the whole ship down out of it. In an attempt to try to be outrageously profitable and greedy, you have set PlayStation's PS5 library back a couple years. So the games that would have been worked on for 2 or 3 years in the front of the gen are now beginning to be worked on now, which means we may not even see these this. Look at King, bro. Shout out to King. It's smiling like shit. Shout out to King, bro. Why is he on Jim Ryan's Google Images? Moving on. Gamers are suing Nintendo to get rid of cut of Trump's tariff refund. This video is about to be long. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. We got 15 minutes in. This is rock with me. A couple of gamers have filed a class action lawsuit against the company seeking a cut of any tariff refunds that the company could receive from the U.S. government. I'll explain that in a second. The lawsuit filed earlier this week in federal court in Washington state argues that Nintendo should not be able to keep ill-gotten profits after it allegedly raised prices on consumers to offset tariff costs while seeking a refund on the duties from the government. Lastly, I have noted that back in February, the Supreme Court ruled that most of the tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, were unconstitutional. So let me just go ahead and condense this down for you guys. See, I remember when the Nintendo Switch 2 got announced and tariffs were implemented, that the price of the consoles was raised to combat the fact that there were tariffs, which is typically the business move that happens, is they go ahead and pass off the cost to the customer. So if a brick costs $10 and there's tariffs that add extra $5 to that shit, they're going to go ahead and sell that shit for the price of the increase on the tariffs. It's very simple. So what has happened, though, is tariffs were implemented. Companies had to pay that, and they passed that on to us to offset their cost. Then the tariffs were called illegal, and the U.S. is being sued by outside countries for the tariffs that they had to pay. So what has happened is they had already passed off the cost to us, but they're going to get refunded on the additional money that they had to pay to bring it into the U.S. So they were able to charge us more, but they're now going to be refunded for the additional money they had to pay, which means that we just got completely fucked. These people are now suing Nintendo because you guys charged us more for something, but you're going to get refunded, so now you should refund us for the additional cost of tariffs, taxes as well. Did that make sense? I'm not saying that again, because as much as I stutter, y'all have no idea. I don't think I could do that all again in one shot. Anyway, that's pretty much what's going on with that. Let's move on quickly. Oh, this thing. PlayStation. Look at his face. Look at his face. That's my face right now on the inside. I've seen some tweets. There are some updates about this, so I'm going to go ahead and let you know. There was allegedly a 30-day online DRM check-in. Sounds like something from Xbox in 2013 that they got in lots of trouble for, and Sony PlayStation trolled them by trading games live on stages at showcases. So apparently what has happened is if you bought a game and you didn't hook up your console for 30 days, your game would break. You bought the game already. Digital, not physical. Just to say it. There's screenshots of this physically happening. I don't know if I'll be able to show the screenshots. Can we do that? Yeah, remaining time, 20 days. Don't Starve Together Console Edition. This is the check-in. You see this? Every game you buy now requires an online check-in every 30 days if you buy it digitally. Somebody would defend this shit too. When they study why the game industry has the crash that it may have outside of the indie scene, when they do history on this decades from now, they're not going to talk about the companies doing the nonsense. They're going to talk about the people who defend the bullshit. I bought a game. Don't touch my game. Anyway, PlayStation has since come out and said that this is a bug. Okay? It's a bug. I highlighted that. I don't know where it happened. I don't know where it went. Where's that? Boy, I'm telling you, I highlighted it. Either way. Here, let me see if I can find that. Yeah, here it is. Unintentional bug. Here it is. It says that they accidentally broke something while fixing an exploit. Okay. All right. I think y'all was trying something. I can't prove that, though. I think companies do try stuff. They see how we're going to react to it, and then they go ahead and switch it, or they do a less severe version of that. We've seen it several times over from many companies. Okay, moving on. Let's swing it back to Xbox. I don't know. Listen, if this woman is doing everything she's saying, that's going to be some wild shit. Because we used to all the corporate talk, and they make things sound good. They lie, though. And then they make it sound good, or things change and they change and don't tell us that the change has happened. She's coming in and she's basically doing everything the Xbox fan base has been asking for almost for a decade. So, this is a rumor that there's at least a discussion that Xbox exclusives were coming back. She says that she wants to make the right decision and not the fastest decision. And you know, the thing I like about what she's doing, she doesn't seem to be like super wordy. Like if I ask you a question and you give me like a long answer, it makes it hard for me to determine whether or not you have a real plan or you're kind of making it up as you go. Or maybe you're unsure. When you give somebody a question and there's a simple answer, they get a simple answer. You know what I mean? When you're telling the truth, it don't take a lot of effort. So she's just like quick. You know what I mean? So I'm not used to that. I'm used to somebody, you ask somebody, yo, are we going to go with XYZ, and they just talk for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? That's what we're used to. Anyway, she said she want to take a data-driven approach and a strategic-driven approach as well. So there was a memo that went out about her willingness to reevaluate the approach to exclusivity, which could mean a lot of things. Fans have called on Microsoft to return to exclusive games, and Sharma has heard the calls, but it remains to see if anything will change. And they do have a note here about Forza Horizon 5 reportedly earning more than $300 million on the PlayStation 5 alone. Not surprised by this at all. You're always going to have people, as they say, nobody wants to play other people's games, and then when it pops up on their platform, it goes crazy like this. Okay, we don't believe it. All right. She also killed the This Is Xbox campaign. Good. So, last episode of this, right after I filmed it, it said that I reported a rumor that PlayStation may be removed from Game Pass. Well, it has officially been removed from Game Pass, and for that, they were able to reduce the cost of Game Pass by $7? So instead of it being $30 a month, I think it is now $22 a month. Now, I said it is amazing to see that just one game in Game Pass forced a price increase of $7 to $8. I should go to tell you, I told y'all 5 years ago that I didn't know if this was a sustainable model, because at first it seemed like it wasn't too bad, but they started adding so many like big budget games. Then they started acquiring Bethesda and all these other things. They have all these games in there, and then y'all was getting that shit for $1. And y'all was account sharing. There's no way that could have stayed like that. People are worried that this move means that there's going to be other first-party games coming out of the Game Pass as well, which I fully suspect that we're going to see to get the price down, because This is a very expensive business model for a subscription service that is not seeing crazy growth. No subscription service is seeing growth. Everything is pretty much stagnant. In order for Game Pass to be what they wanted it to be, I think they said they needed 50 or 80 million people or something. Come on, man, that's just crazy, bro. I don't know what it was. Anyway, somebody could double check on that. But here's the official thing right here. UK Game Pass Ultimate has dropped from 22 pounds to 17 pounds. And then we have the PC Game Pass as well. Remember, they already rolled Game Pass into Ultimate and all that stuff. This is courtesy of the BB. I'm not completing that. Real quick, man. Pragmata, amazing game. I haven't posted a video in the game in over a week, but I gave y'all like 5 hours of day one content for this and Mouse PI for Hire. Both excellent games. I think Pragmata is a little bit better. I'm telling y'all, if you're on the fence about this game, I'm going to do my discussion video and finish the series. This game is fantastic. All right, Capcom is doing what nobody else can right now. And I'm going to use Capcom as a reference. I'm going to get on y'all nerves for the next 4 years. When I see people making excuses for companies that they can only do one game every 8 years, I'm going to bring Capcom making 4 fire games in 1 year up, and they're all different. I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw it in your face. They have sold over 1 million copies, which is great. They don't have ginormous budgets and all that kind of stuff, and they don't need them. Okay? They still have Onimusha coming out this year, too. Fuck with me. All right, moving on. Stop killing games. I'm going to try to learn a little bit more about this. We did have somebody with a great update in the comment section of the last episode. Shout out to my brother there. So, Stop Killing Games is an initiative. This is to protect the gamers. So, this is really about server-connected games. They would be required both informing customers of game death and require publishers to replace the game. So, okay, we'll take 2K. 2K, whatever. Every couple years, they turn the servers off. What happens is sometimes you buy games, the servers get shut off, and there's not an offline opportunity for you to play your game. More of a scam if you ask me, but whatever. So, this is going to require publishers to replace the game at no additional cost with a comparable game capable of receiving necessary updates and support when the comparable product is reasonably available to the company and so notify customers. Also, release and circulate to customers an end-of-life plan, including steps taken to ensure the customer may continue running the game in some fashion after support ends. My mic probably got roll ass. You already know the EU don't play. The UK don't play. They're head over. They're already on top of the shit. They're holding an official hearing, or they already did, as of April 16th, with the public encouraged to watch. You're encouraged to send commentary to lawmakers beforehand. Yeah, man, if you want these people to stop basically making games online only and not playable after you're done, even when it's a single player experience, this is for you. That's the long and short of it until I get a little more info and I can be a little bit more informative in how I deliver that to you. Corporate bootlickers and shit. Yeah, man, there's a lot of that going on, bro. It's crazy. First example of Stop Killing Games celebrating here is from The Crew 2. They have offline mode support now because of that. Yesterday, Ubisoft rolled out updates to The Crew 2 hybrid mode, which it introduced last October, which may make the game available offline as well as on. The update makes livery tweaks available offline, driver statistics available offline, and adds an innocuous sounding back to login button, which saves you from having to reboot the game when you want to change from online to offline mode. So we're seeing it in action. Who is going to have a problem with this? What player? Not companies. Because I hate to say it, some of y'all see yourselves as like you work for companies. You're not a player. You're like you're like in the middle. You think you're the glue. You're the translator. You ain't shit. It says here that Ubisoft did this for The Crew 2 and Motorfest because they were afraid of European citizens' initiative would pass and this would kill some of them. You see what happens when companies are scared? See, you shouldn't have to be scared of laws to do the right thing. Whatever though. Anyway, Battlefield 6, the roadmap has been announced. I don't play Battlefield anymore. Not because it's a bad game. It just I don't know what happened. Do y'all still play Battlefield? Let me know. Do you still play Battlefield? What can they do to get you back on the game if you do not? And maybe why just stop playing? Here is the actual roadmap itself. Season 3 starts in May. Rank play launches in RedSec. You have 2 fan favorite maps here. And those are the big things about that. Season 4 is in July with Naval Warfare as well. And there's, links is in the description. Okay, but let me know what's going on with y'all in Battlefield. Moving on. Anybody who cares, Pearl Abyss adds difficulty settings to Crimson Desert. One of the most controversial games I've ever seen. I've never seen a game get 10s and 3s consistently. So it really depends on who played the game. It's really funny. Typically, when there's a game, it's universally accepted within 1 to 3 points as far as ratings go. Crimson Desert is some whole other shit. I've seen this shit get 10s and 1s, 10s and 3s. Anyway, they've added easy, normal, and hard difficulty. I've seen people complaining about this. You don't have to play on easy, easy or normal. I get it though, because people are asking for easy mode on Souls games, and that's like so counter to what Souls is. But if they add it, I'm not gonna give a shit. It's not going to impact me. Moving on. We're gonna Fairgame struggles to find the fun in the latest pre-alpha PlayStation. So this is one of those PlayStation games, isn't it? Damn, 32 minutes? All right, we gotta hurry up. All right, this is extraction-based mode that people were able to play in the last playtest. Go figure. Screenshots of the game's playtest Discord showed a massive amount of negative player feedback, with players criticizing game-defining features like movement, NPCs, the class system, and more. See, we're not going to ignore the signs. This game's not going anywhere, okay? Okay? Is this leftover from Jim Ryan? Marathon's already where they are. And if y'all don't remember this, y'all want to look at the trailer real quick? Get to the shit.
Money and
get to the shit.
We decide.
Designer socks too.
Ain't gonna be no designer socks. That sound copyrighted. Let's move on, brothers. Old heads, stand up. If you old enough to remember Ecco the Dolphin, comment below, bro. I played this shit on Sega Channel. Y'all don't even know what Sega Channel is. I think Game Pass was the first of its kind. It's not. Don't ever let somebody tell you that Sega Channel was out in like 95, bro. Literally. The only thing you couldn't save the games on there, though. You can save your games. 50 games a month, $13 a month. Telling you, bro. I think it lasted for like 3 years before they canceled this shit. Anyway, there is a definitive collection for Ecco the Dolphin and a brand new Ecco the Dolphin game. So this was saying that they got a lot of people from the original development team to come back in. They're going to work on this. So we're going to see. Might not be much to look at because we are talking about a game that came out on Sega, but I just wanted to throw this out there for the people that like this. And I remember there was a Toe Jam and Earl sequel a couple years ago. You old as fuck, okay? I'm telling you right now. I'm right there with you. All right, Troy Baker, the GOAT, one of many. All right, he's ready to develop his own games, which is, I think he could do it. You don't know who Troy Baker is. You heard him a million times. That man is so versatile. Just to name some of the games he's done. He's Joel in The Last of Us, Sam from Uncharted. He was Indiana Jones, sounding exactly like Harrison Ford. He's also, what's it called, on Death Stranding. He's even the voice for the main character currently right now today on Mouse P.I. for Hire. He is working on Naughty Dog's upcoming game. I think he was BioShock Infinite. Was he Comstock on there? He was on The Simpsons. I mean, the dude's just a monster. It says here he has over 430 voice acting credits. Anybody with this kind of thing, he's also been very inspired. He's got to shadow all these great game developers. He's talking about Kojima and Druckmann, Todd Howard, Vincent Pell, all these people. So he's been around the block. He's been doing this for so long. I'm sure he's picked up enough of experience to maybe try to give it a shot. Hopefully his games have great narratives, because that's what I want to see from somebody like that. Moving on. Gang of the Dragon. I reported that this game was basically canceled. Now it's officially, I don't know if it's officially canceled. I can't say that, but he deleted his YouTube channel. The trailer is gone as well. He needed another $44 million to complete the game. NetEase didn't know he needed that much. They went ahead and got him up out of there, man. This is from the original Yakuza developer, creator, whatever. All right, so it's over with. It's not going to happen, okay? Lastly, There's a Far Cry TV show. This is the problem. The person who's in charge of this won't be using any specific Far Cry game for the show. The most bothersome thing that I saw was this. He had said, I seen someone on Twitter that said that most people skip the cutscenes. On Far Cry? What? When you play a video game, you only really move forward through the gameplay section, and then you have these cutscenes that you can skip, he continues. So when you go to adapt those games, you have to be aware that makes the human drama kind of irrelevant to the storyline. That is death for a show. One of the main things people criticize game adaptations for is not using the source material. This is like the 5th time we've seen somebody not want to use the source material for a video game. The first episode of the first season of The Last of Us had people so hyped up because they used the source material. Then they went off the deep end and did some old extra shit out the end. But in the beginning, I loved it. Just seeing like the video game, the TV show version of scenes from video games is amazing. When the clickers came out on that first episode from season 1 of The Last of Us, inside of that like museum or whatever, that shit was so fire, bro. I thought that was CG and it was real people who were fans of the show that were in clicker suits. Anyway, let's move on to the last thing, which is video game release dates. My throat is starting to kill me a little bit. 36 minutes. Y'all gonna have to hold these, bro. I don't know what to tell you. What do we have this week? Today's the 27th, the week of the 26th. What sticks out to me? Invincible Versus and Soros are the big two. I don't know much about these other ones, but this is kind of these are the bigger ones for this week. And we're looking at some other ones for next week and next month. This He-Man is one of these 2D beat-em-ups. You might like this if you're fans of that. Till next time, though, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Y'all ugly as shit. Bye.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn